When my parents moved, when my uncle and his cruel wife and kids moved into my parents' house with me, they took over everything that my parents left for me. It all became theirs, and I was so young to understand. By the time I was 18, there was nothing left, only a house that was also falling apart. I failed matric due to the fact that I was always tired. I had so many chores to do. After failing matric, I wasn't allowed to repeat. I was instead made to go by door, selling tomatoes and onions, while their kids went to school. And one day I met this beautiful elderly woman who told me that she had a better job for me that will make me rich. She gave me a card after buying onions and drove off. I wanted to be rich and free myself from the slave life I was adopted into. I called the same day and asked what the job was all about, and she saw it modeling. I was immediately interested, and we agreed to meet the following week. The following week, I met up with her. She lived in a beautiful house, but when I got there, she told me that unfortunately, the modeling job was no more. She then told me there was job what left entertaining men, and that one paid 5 times, even more than the modeling job. She could see that I wasn't interested. Then she took me to a room where she used big screen to show me pictures of very gorgeous girls living their best life. On the picture slide, there were pictures of girls buying luxury cars. I'm talking about Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, and so on. They were also buying apartments in fancy areas, going overseas on trips and doing some serious shopping. These girls were living a life anyone could only dream of. She then bought me some expensive champagne, which I also saw on TV. Then she proceeded to video call me all the girls she had shown me on the screen to prove that they were real. Some were laying in their beautiful bedrooms. Some were driving to fancy places in their luxurious cars. Some shopping and some on vacations. I was tempted, but told her that I needed time to think about it. I called her a week later, and I joined her winning hands team. I ran away from home into her home. She did a total makeover on me and gave me dildos to practice with my mouth. And of course, the obvious, I had no idea what I was doing. But she was very patient with me. Within 2 weeks, she told me that there were rich men from Abuja coming to our country, and I and 3 other girls will be entertaining them. I was so nervous, but she gave me some vodka and told me to take shots whenever I feel like nervous until I get used to this. The day came and I had no idea what I was doing, but I had to pretend like I knew what I was doing. We went to fancy club and I watched every dance and drink away. It wasn't exactly my scene, but it was too late for me to do anything about it. It was time to go back to the hotel. When we go there, the guy was entertaining, went to a shower, and I took the gloves off what I was advised to take. Every time I go to the hotel, after a couple of minutes, I saw the guy walk towards me. But at that point, I was very lightheaded. I think I blanked out and I couldn't keep my eyes opened. But I could feel something wrapping itself around me tightly, and that's all I could remember. The next morning, I woke up alone in the hotel room, and my body was so much in pain. And I noticed that I had a very foul breath. I forced myself to walk to the bathroom, but it was intensive, were ready out of my vagina any minute. When I got to the bathroom, I looked myself in the mirror, and I could see some broken things on my lips. I wiped them out with my hand. I thought they were a bit dry and smelled like poop. But what will be poop doing in my mouth? I disgustedly took a bath soap and washed my mouth with it. Sour, bitter, but I didn't care. Then took my toothbrush, brushed my teeth for 20 minutes. I couldn't stop gargling. Then I took a shower, and when I got out, the cleaner was already in there. She gave me a letter. In the letter, it was written, "Your driver is outside in a black Viano, ready to take you home." My walk of shame to the car was on another level. When I got to the Viano, it took me to the woman's house. I was surprised when she made me steam and treated me like a sick person. She made me drink some traditional herbs, told me that I will fall asleep, and the next day I will wake up much better. I woke up in a nice white clean shade, and she was sitting right beside me with a big smile. She was really beautiful, and she said, "Good morning, sleepyhead." Then she gave me a tray full of money and said, "Yes, you are rewarded, so please." She then said, "But your guy was very happy and generous." She then told me to always take gulps of the bottle she gave me. She said it's vodka, and it will always make sure everything is fine. I kept entertaining different men twice a week, and the end results were always the same. I will never remember much than tight squeezing and waking up with a pain body, brown things on my lips, then going to the lady's house and get tray full of money. One day I decided not to take any gulps, but pretended as if I did. The man, as usual, went to shower, laid on the bed as if I passed out. Then man came out of the shower, growling like a snake. I got so scared, closed my eyes so tight. I felt him wrap himself around me. It wasn't a snake, just a man acting like one. And it was so scary. He squeezed me so hard until I heard him poop. He was squeezing me, but he is the one that pooped. He then fed me the poop with a spoon. I was so scared that I didn't even feel myself swallow the poop. I was honestly so scared that I think my soul left my body for a minute. After a while, the man laid an egg, then he let go of me and inserted the leg inside me. A very small egg. How he laid it, I really don't know. Then after inserting it inside me, he waited a bit and the egg came out with blood. Then they licked the blood and smashed the egg on his head, smeared it there and put on a head and left. He left me there. I was so scared that I didn't sleep that night. In the morning as usual, my body was in pain. For my vagina, my mind was going crazy. At that point, I walked to the piano and back to the house. I steamed and drank whatever I had been given since day one. I was so sure that I was being sacrificed, but for what I didn't know. I was given a tray full of money as always. Now I had a big bag full of money. It was enough to help me start a new life, somewhere very far from that place. The next day, I ran away. I got away. But I ran away with the very same guy I saw performing a ritual on me while I pretended to have passed out. I see him everywhere I go, even in my locked house. He doesn't talk to me or even look at me. He just sits next to me. I've tried begging him to leave me alone, but he doesn't respond. What scares me is twice a week I still wake up feeling exactly the way I will feel the next day when I was entertaining men. This person follows me everywhere, and it seems like I'm the only one seeing him. The scariest part of this whole thing is, if I talk to a man, the next day I hear the news that the man passed away. He just slept and never woke up. This happened to 3 men I tried hooking up with, and on the 3rd one, I knew I was the problem and stopped talking to men altogether. I need help, please. My life is a mess.